Hello, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor, Crop Life and Crop Life Iron, here with Lara Sowinski. Laura, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. I can hear you, but I can't see you, Eric. What's up?
Well, actually, that's not really a mistake. We here in Ohio, of course, like a lot of people in a very thin sliver of the country, are getting ready for the total eclipse coming up here on April 8th. So, if our videographer will be kind enough to uneclipse us, we can get there. We are. Yeah, I know that folks here in Ohio, we're gearing up for this. I guess where we are, just outside of Cleveland, we're like right smack dab in the middle of total eclipse zone. So,
You sure are. Gosh, I was worried there. You're kind of jumping the gun. I thought maybe it was a Mercury retrograde kind of thing.
yeah, no, nothing like that. And yes, folks, if you're staring at the video screen, don't look directly at the blacked out part. You got to get the special glasses, which I don't have. I'm hoping again. Ohio is a little, in April, Ohio is very overcast most times. So, hoping that it'll be a nice clear day and everyone will be able to see the eclipse. I guess that may be a contradiction in terms. Not sure, but we'll go with it. But yeah, so folks, as you're watching this video, and a day or two later, if you have the opportunity to see the eclipse, check it out for yourselves. And if not, I'm sure there'll be plenty of video posted online shortly thereafter. So look for it
Yeah,
on Monday the 8th.
good. I'm hoping for clear skies for y'all. So good luck.
All right. Well, thank you. So, hey, here's something we have to follow up on, Laura. I know before we went to Commodity Classic about a month ago, we were talking a little bit about the USDA planting intentions report, and that actually now has finally been published. And I guess it wasn't really a surprise. I mean, of the four major row crops, two of them can expect upticks in their acreage, and two of them are going to be on going down in acreage. Any care to guess which two are up versus which two are down? I'll kind of put you on the spot right
Um,
now.
I'm definitely thinking that soybeans are up.
Yep, you're correct.
Okay.
The intentions for soybean, they say soybean growers are expected to plant 86.5 million acres of soybean this year, and that's up 3% from last year.
Mm-hmm. I think corn may be down.
Yep, corn is indeed down. 90 million acres is the projection for 2024, and that's off 5% from 2023's acreage. So.
Yeah. What else? You said it was kind of what you expected. Any surprises or anything else?
No, not really. I mean, the report mentioned, of course, the reason that soybean is up versus corn is, of course, as everybody's kind of gearing up for demand for renewable diesel, that
Right.
they are planting more soybeans to take advantage of that. And it's interesting because the acreage switches between corn and soybean are taking places in what would be considered normally big corn states: Illinois,
Mhm.
Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, and Ohio.
Wow. Yeah.
A lot of them are seeing a couple of 100,000 acres or more are going to be changing between corn and soybean here in 2024 for those particular states. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Actually.
regarding the other
Yeah.
the other row crops, before you dive in, wheat is the other one that's down, off 4% to 47.5 million acres, a little less wheat.
Mhm.
But our friends in cotton will be happy because they're expecting 10.7 million acres of cotton to be planted this year, and that
Oh,
is
that
an
is good.
uptick of 4%. So,
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I did. I did run across something about a week or so ago regarding the shift, if you will, with corn going down, soybeans coming up. So, yeah. Well, good news
yeah,
on the
when I
cotton front.
yeah, I was going to say, and on the plus side for the corn folks, for the folks that are going to be growing corn, it seems like, looking at some of the futures markets for
Mhm.
commodity prices for corn, that with a little less corn going in the ground, it looks like some of the prices are already up, ticking up a little bit. So for
Exactly.
those people who are growing corn, it'll probably be a little more profitable. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. So,
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely upside. Good.
okay. Well, hey, something to share on the tech side, because I know ag tech is one of those things that you're following really, really closely this time of year as we gear up for our Tech Hub Live event coming up in July. Our friends at AGCO and Trimble have now formalized their joint venture. The joint venture is going to be known as P, capital T, lowercase x, PTX
Mhm,
Trimble. And that's going to combine Trimble's precision ag business with AGCO's JCA Technologies. And it's going to form a new company that AGCO will have an 85% stake in, and Trimble will hold the remaining 15%.
mhm,
The AGCO folks said that PTX Trimble will provide farmers greater access to next generation precision ag tools, no matter what brands or implements they operate.
mhm, mhm,
AGCO is actually going to start reporting the income from this joint venture on their financial statements, and they're anticipating that consolidated precision ag revenues for the company by 2028 will exceed $2 billion
wow,
annually. So that's the big news out of the technology side. Our friends at Trimble and AGCO doing more together. And again, I know this is something we've talked about in print and
mhm,
online a lot. The fact that, a couple of years back, there were a lot of mergers, acquisitions,
mhm,
consolidation going on. But the new trend now seems to be if there are two companies that have vested interests in similar fields, but have differing strengths in those
mhm,
particular markets, that
mhm.
they actually form a joint venture or some type
Yeah,
of partnership to benefit both. So.
yeah, yeah. I remember when news of the proposed uh, joint venture came up, and we reported on it, and now we have a name for it, and that's great. Awesome.
Yeah. So, hey, I've been talking, so I'll kick this over to you. I think you have some news to share on the supply chain front, correct?
I do, yeah. And actually, thanks to you, you were the one that alerted me to this news, which this report is from our friends over at feedandgrain.com. U.S. Congressman Jim Costa from California, Dusty Johnson from South Dakota have introduced a new bill, the Modernizing Operations for Vehicles in Emergencies Act. So, MOVE, MOVE. So the ATA, American Trucking Association, which I used to talk a lot to in my former supply chain life, they're supporting the bill, which they say emphasizes the crucial role in allowing the expedited delivery of relief supplies during natural disasters. More specifically, states currently have the authority to waive federal weight limits on the interstate system during emergencies. So, trucks can carry, more heavier loads. Um, and uh, obviously for natural disasters and even during COVID is one example where that type of authority to quickly, give that permission to trucks was critical. However, the current laws limit this flexibility as these special permits are only issued if the president declares a major disaster. But under the MOVE Act, this proposed bill proposes to modernize vehicle weight waiver authority for various emergencies, including natural disasters and diseases that impact commerce and supply chains. Key provisions of the bill include expanding the federal government's allowance for states to waive limits on the interstate system under more diverse emergency declaration, including those made by governors regarding diseases and supply chain. So, one last piece of the proposed bill would extend the duration of these declarations to 270 days compared to the current max, which is 120 days. So, um, probably a good chance that this will pass. But again, the MOVE Act proposed bill from Congressman Jim Costa and Dusty Johnson.
Very good. Yeah, I got to admit, I like you said, I did forward that item to you, but I
Uh-huh.
love the naming convention. I don't know how many man hours they spent coming up with the acronym for the Moved Act.
I've always wondered
Act
that.
specifically looking at transportation and
Yeah,
supply chain logistics. I'm like that's brilliant. So
it is. It
whoever
is.
came up with that, we bow to you. We are in awe of your inspiration to string together those four words to come up with those letters. That was just great. So
Yeah, sometimes the acronyms are flashy and they sound great, but then you look at the actual words and it's like, wow, that was kind of a stretch. It seemed kind of awkward, but this one worked so well, modernizing operations for vehicles and emergencies. So
yep,
perfect.
yep. No, again, props.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that, props to them. All honors to you. So. So, hey, one other thing to update for our viewers before we go into our favorite segment of the program. Of course, we've been talking about the last month or so since I think the ruling came down there in February, I believe, about dicamba.
Mm,
The Arizona courts vacating the dicamba labeling, but of course, EPA came out with a ruling, a rule that said that any dicamba in the pipeline could be used for
mhm.
the 24 season. And I
Yeah.
know talking to a lot of folks in the industry, they were wondering if this might be maybe quote unquote the end of the road, possibly for dicamba
Mm,
in the marketplace
right.
because of all the problems that the herbicide has had with getting approvals and keeping its label up to date and not being challenged in courts. But we found out on March 11th that our friends at Bayer have reapplied for a new dicamba label with EPA,
Oh, really?
and they're hoping to have that labeling for their Extendamax brand
Mm.
in place for soybean and cotton to be used in the 2025 season. So
Oh, wow.
again, Bayer will stand behind dicamba and
Mhm.
dicamba cropping systems moving forward. So we'll have to see then if the folks at Syngenta and BASF will follow suit. But now that Bayer has done it, I suspect those other two as well. So it looks like
Mhm.
if labels are reapproved, that dicamba will again be in the crop fields moving forward.
Yeah, that is good piece of news. So yeah, definitely keep our eyes on that.
All
Important.
right. Well, Miss Laura, then time for our favorite segment of the program, yours in particular, mine as well, because I get to torture you. Time for fun with numbers.
Yay! Well, you say it's my favorite segment. Do I actually like the I like the start today with the blacked
Oh,
out thing. So I
on
have to say that was my
on
favorite thus
occasion,
far.
circumstances work well. I mean, there was one year when our former co-host Paul Schrimpf and I was like a Thanksgiving episode, and we had little beanbag turkeys, and we were attempting to juggle them on camera. That was not a pretty sight. Let's just say my juggling ability is nil, and Paul's were no better. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
Any back to fun with numbers.
All
So
right,
this week
all
you
right.
don't need to write this one down. Just pay attention. This one is a real easy low number, just a number 4.
4. Okay.
That is your number this week, 4. So, Miss Laura, is that A, the number of new autonomous vehicles being introduced in 2024? Is it B, the number of states now considering bills to limit plaintiff claims against pesticide manufacturers? Is it C, the number of trade shows this summer that will explore in depth artificial intelligence in agriculture? Or is it D, the number of K pop albums my son plans to buy in the next 3 weeks? Just FYI, every Tuesday they come out with new albums and he tends to want all of them. So
Um, gosh, I think I'm going with B.
you are correct. The
Yeah,
number of states considering bills to limit plaintiff claims against pesticide manufacturers. Yeah, you may remember in last week's video, we talked about the bill that was pending in the Iowa State Senate
right.
regarding limiting the plaintiff damages. And I actually ran across an item from the National Agricultural Law Center that said, in addition to Iowa, 3 other states, 4 total, are
Mhm.
now considering similar legislations. That would be Florida, Idaho, and Missouri, along with Iowa. So
Oh,
again, we're starting to see some pending legislation move through state houses that would
mhm.
limit plaintiff damages against the pesticide manufacturers.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if this expands to some of the bigger states for this, Illinois and California in
Mhm.
particular. But at least now there are 4 of them out there that are doing something about this or trying to.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So I think this was my third
You
third
are
week.
on
I
a
got it
roll.
right.
Like I said, I know our videographer says he
Fire.
doesn't have to change the coloring scheme on the last slide, so he's going to be very happy putting this one together, since I think he is taking time off to see the eclipse. So,
Well, I'm glad I could oblige.
all right. Well, hey, everyone out there, if you're an eclipse watcher, I hope you enjoy it on Monday. Hope the skies are clear where you are. And if you're traveling someplace to see it, like here in Cleveland, wave. I may see you in the dark. It's possible. I apologize. I won't look directly at you, though, I promise. And on behalf of everyone here at Crop Life, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you again soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comments section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.